You shut up, baby, shut up, baby, baby, shut up, baby. Okay. Um, it was a very interesting day in how I took my trade. Let's get right into it. So, for just smoking out draws on liquidity. To the left side, we had this kind of just London high right here, then just big gap. And then down here, MEQ low. This was London low, and we had Asian low. We didn't have an Asian high, and we had previous day low. So immediately, uh, definitely favoring the downside. On MES is a little different though. We had this high, no gap to fill, and then really just one low, and then the gap. So I was kind of favoring MEQ short just from the beginning. But getting into market open, right off the bat, there's not market open. Alright, market opens and we dump. After this, I was like, oh, we're immediately just gonna take out these lows. Dumped again, made a fair value gap. I'm like, bruh, there's no way it's coming back up here. But wait a minute. Wait. So no gap on the MES. MEQ does have a gap. MEQ's gap gets disrespected. So gap equals no longer respected. For my strategy, usually I want to see a higher time frame get hit. Say this. Hold on. Where's the drawing here? So this guy hit. Wow. So this guy hit. Boom, dump, bang, 5-minute trace. Fills this gap, and then continues lower. Is usually what I want to see. So here, in this case, bang, fills the gap, and instead it actually invalidates it. However, I think this time was a very, very specific case where if we had to take out this, if we took out this hourly low, I think this would have been a possible reversal point. But as you see here, because we invalidated this 5-minute gap, but we end up sweeping the 5-minute liquidity, I feel like that gap is no longer an issue, and especially because we reset these 5-minute highs. I think this might have tapped into the hourly gap. Well, maybe that's pre-market. Not really entirely sure if that re-tapped into the hourly gap. I don't think it did because it didn't really make a move much higher. But because it swept those highs out and we're still in bear structure, I was still willing, although I would have wanted to respect it and then get a 1-minute breakdown, I was still willing to take a short. If we didn't sweep these highs out, or we would have taken this out, trade would have been done. But because if we would have hit a higher time frame liquidity, I'd want to see the retrace respect the gap and then still have liquidity down below. So, but all those things aligned. End up breaking back down. So boom. Another tricky thing was that we still had these 1-minute gaps, so I could easily react off it. But another thing on the 5-minute is that we ended up invalidating all these gaps too down here on MEQ. Their 15-minute really wasn't much. Yeah, there's no gaps. And I think I had a stop loss, like, yeah, I would have had it in here, which is not ideal. Well, actually, I got a little bit better entry extension later. It was more like there. And I guess for this first TP was not even a 1-to-1, just because I think my stop was here. But it's close enough, and I ended up closing further down on another one. But ended up finally dumping. I took first profit off here, and then after that, it was like down here, and then, well, after MES ended up taking this low out, I then moved it to break even here, which it came back up in the 1 minute. Wait, that's not the 1 minute. 1 minute. Got very close to it. Boom, it like edged it and went straight back down. Like, oh yeah, we're cooking now. And then I didn't end up reversing all the way back up. So I was kind of content. I thought if it ended up reversing again, that was definitely probably going to come in full on reversing, which it did. So overall, solid day. The trade was definitely a tricky one, especially with me still getting used to this. Like, I've been using the strategy for a while, but just getting used to if something doesn't go is actually like if it's still within the confines of the strategy, but maybe another confluence gets invalidated, it gets kind of wonky, like we saw there with the retrace, and then but ended up invalidating the gap. So, overall good, and I ended up learning a lot from it today. So, paid 250 on the first trade of the funded. I'm gonna try to risk around 300 today. I thought I risked 300, but um, when I put 250 to 300, it still kept 2 contracts. So I don't know what 3 contracts would have been, but I probably would have risked like 350, and I didn't want to risk that much. I'd rather just risk 250 instead of 300. But that is it for today, and we keep grinding.